Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking through a couple of my favorite plays on Prizepicks for today's slate for Thursday, March the 24th. Shorter slate today, only 5 games, but there were a lot of props I liked for today. There's a lot that stood out at first look. I'm recording this video around 1 o'clock on Thursday, so most of the board has been posted, and we did get some big news right before I started recording. Got news from Milwaukee that Giannis will be out today for the Bucks. So that does change some things, obviously, for Milwaukee, and there are some Milwaukee props I do like. One specifically we will share in this video. But as always, guys, I appreciate your support. Appreciate you guys watching this video. Make sure you hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button as well if you have not yet. I do upload these Prizepicks videos Monday through Friday. You guys have showed continuous support on these videos, so I appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. And if you're new to Prizepicks, you want to check them out, you can sign up with my promo code NOAH. They'll match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my code. And you can take a look at Prizepicks board for today. Look at their props. Obviously, if you want to tail my picks, you can do that as well. We have been doing really well the last 2 days. We've gave out 4 picks back-to-back days on Tuesday and Wednesday. Gave out 4 picks in each video. And over the last 2 days, we've gone 7-1 on the 8 picks that we've shared. Yesterday, we could have had another clean sweep, but sadly, Jaren Jackson Jr. only finished with 13 points. We needed 17 from him. So he finished, a couple points short, which was unfortunate. We hit all other 3 picks, though. Again, we've been doing well in the Prizepicks videos lately. At the start, it wasn't going too well, but we've been, starting to get a groove going. Hopefully, in the 4 picks I give out today, we can go 4-0, continue this little hot streak. So let's start off with the fantasy points category. I got 2 fantasy points projections that I think are a little bit too low today. I got a points prop I think is too low, and then I have an assist prop that I think is too low. So we got 4 overs that we're going to talk about in this video. So in the fantasy points category, we're going to start off with Jonas Valanciunas over 37 fantasy points. This is one prop that really stood out to me at first look. Love this matchup for J-Val going up against the Bulls. The Bulls are a team that you can really beat down low. You can beat in the paint. And if you actually look at points in the paint this season, the Bulls are towards the bottom of the league in terms of opponents' points allowed in the paint. They're 25th, giving up almost 50 points per game in the paint, which is where Jonas Valanciunas does a lot of his damage. He can shoot threes, and he's actually been making a lot of threes lately. I wanted to pull up his 3-point prop because they have it set at 0.5 right now. So basically, you need him to make a 3. He's made a 3 in 5 straight games. I don't think this is something I'm going to bet on, but that's kind of funny that J-Val's been shooting threes. He's been hitting them. But most of J-Val's damage is done in the paint. He's a guy that really lives around the rim, can get a lot of putbacks. He's a really good rebounder. He's just a big-time, he's a guy with big-time upside. We've seen him put up huge games. He had a huge game last game against Charlotte, had a big game against Atlanta, 47 fantasy points. He's gone over his fantasy point projection now in 4 out of his last 5 games. And that San Antonio game, when he came up short, he literally played like 20 minutes because it was a blowout. So I think if this game stays close, we're going to get low 30s minutes from J-Val. He's a fantasy point per minute player. He's better than a fantasy point per minute player. You can actually look at his per 36 stats this season. You can look at fantasy points per minute. He's averaging 1.38 fantasy points per minute this season with Brandon Ingram off the floor and NAW and Josh Hart off the floor. I wanted to take those guys off the floor because they're not on the team anymore. Brandon Ingram is doubtful, so he's not expected to play. Per 36, JV's averaging 49 fantasy points or 48 fantasy points per 36. He just does everything. He scores. He gets rebounds. I was debating between taking his points or fantasy points. He has hit his points prop now in 3 out of his last 5 games. But with how JV can really dominate on the glass, he can have these huge rebounding games like he did last game against Charlotte where he got 18 rebounds. That just made me take fantasy points instead. He can also block shots too. We saw JV get a lot of block shots. I think he had like 5 defensive stats last game. And obviously defensive stats are very huge when you're taking fantasy points because they're worth 3 points each. I like a lot of JV's props today, but for the sake of this video, we're going to take the over 37 fantasy points. That's one prop that I did like quite a bit today. Now, another fantasy point projection that I like a lot that I think is too low is Kristaps Porzingis. We're going to take over 37 fantasy points for Porzingis. So this is a number that he has gone over now in 3 out of his last 5 games. The 2 games he didn't go over against the Knicks and against the Nuggets, as you can see, he was just short. I don't really care about last 5 games, though. I care about today. And for today's slate, Kyle Kuzma once again remains out for the Wizards. And this season, when Porzingis has played with the Wizards, he hasn't played a ton of games, obviously, but he's played 211 total minutes. In those 211 minutes, he's averaged 1.47 fantasy points per minute, and he's got a 31% usage rate. He's got the highest usage rate on the team since coming to Washington. Obviously, his numbers with Porzingis not Porzingis, but with Kuzma off the floor. his numbers are only going to look better. I didn't take Kuzma off the floor because it's a really small sample size. Obviously, he hasn't played a ton with the Wizards this season, but you would have to think when Porzingis is not playing with Kuzma, his numbers are only going to be better. His usage is only going to be higher. He's going to average more fantasy points per minute. And one thing that's, I think, important to know is that Porzingis actually played 32 minutes last game, which was the most he's played since he's come to the Wizards. They've kind of been taking it easy on him. They've been limiting his minutes for the most part. But last game he got up to 32 minutes, which makes me assume today we're going to get like 32 minutes from Porzingis. And given he's averaged 1.47 fantasy points per minute this year with the Wizards, if he plays 32 minutes, I feel confident he puts up over 37 fantasy points. And Giannis getting ruled out, I think, does make it a lot more likely that this game winds up staying close. That was one thing I was a little bit worried about was the Wizards getting blown out here. But I think Giannis being out definitely helps to keep this game close. I think the Bucks were favored by like 12.5, and now they're only favored by like 8 or 9.5. So I think it's a good spot for Porzingis. I think 37 fantasy points is too low, especially now that he's getting back to 30-plus minutes, and he played 32 minutes last game. If he plays 32 minutes again, feel really good about Porzingis getting over 37 fantasy points. So those are two fantasy point projections I like, and then we're going to head over to the points prop category. Jrue Holiday, this was a prop that I was waiting on. I was waiting on the Bucks guys to get added back to the board after Giannis was ruled out. Drew's points prop, I think before the Giannis news, it was like 18.5 or 19.5, and obviously they bumped it up a lot. But I really don't think they bumped it up enough. I mean, I know a lot of the sports books have Drew at 23.5 points as well. But man, I feel really good about Drew going over 23.5 points. I mean, no Giannis, no Middleton. He's just going to dominate the usage. And so far this season, Drew's played 275 minutes without Giannis, without Middleton. And I also took DiVincenzo and DeMarcus Cousins off the floor since they're no longer on the team. 275 minutes with all those guys off the floor, 38.5% usage rate for Drew. Like, to put into perspective, when Giannis is healthy, his usage rate isn't even that high. Jokic's usage rate is around, like, Drew's going to have around the same usage as, like, Jokic and Giannis and these Joel Embiid. Like, these are guys that have, like, close to 40% usage rates. That's what we're going to see from Drew tonight, or at least we should see. 38.5% usage rate per 36. He's averaging over 30 points per 36, over 50 fantasy points per 36. I was debating between points or fantasy points, like which prop do I take, just because I think Drew's going to crush. And I really just, like, I have a feeling that we could see a scenario where maybe he gets a lot of assists, like his assist projection 9.5. I wouldn't be surprised if Drew has like 13 assists tonight. I don't think I'm going to bet his assists personally, but I could see him having a big assist game, which, if he doesn't have a big scoring game, but maybe he gets a ton of assists, then, if you take fantasy points, maybe he hits fantasy points, but not points. I think points, though, is like the safest bet. I mean, you can look over his last 5 games. He still hit over 23.5 points in 2 out of his last 5 games, and obviously those were with Giannis and with Middleton. At least, well, last game was, Middleton didn't play last game, but the other games were with Giannis and Middleton. I think Drew can score 20. If Drew can score 24 points with Giannis and Middleton playing, imagine what he can do without them. So that's just kind of my thoughts. I think the usage is going to be massive. He's going to have the ball in his hands a ton. I think Drew could put up a triple-double here, like no joke. I think the rebounds are going to be tough for him to get, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get like 30 points and 12 assists from Drew, something like that. I was debating between points, fantasy points, PRA. Regardless, I think Drew's going to have a massive role. I think he's going to do a ton. And I think over 23.5 points is probably the safest bet for Drew today. But like a lot of his props, he should crush here, and his usage is going to be massive without Giannis and without Middleton. And then the fourth and final pick I want to share in this video is in the assist category. We're going to go down to CJ McCollum, over 6 assists for CJ McCollum. Another line that I just think is too low. I mean, you can look at over his last 5 games. McCollum has hit this in 3 out of his last 5. One game he pushed, which was last game, he finished with 6. And then the game against San Antonio, as I mentioned earlier, JV played like 20 minutes against San Antonio. It was a blowout. So did CJ McCollum. I think CJ McCollum played like 28 minutes, didn't play at all in the fourth quarter in that game against San Antonio, so he came up short of his assist prop. But over his last, 8 or 9 games without Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum has hit this assist prop in like almost every game. I think Brandon Ingram's been out since March the 8th against Memphis, so that was the last time. So Brandon Ingram played on March 6th against Denver, but he didn't play. He hasn't played since then. In those games without Brandon Ingram, 11 assists, 8 assists, 9 assists, and then 4, 8, and 6. So out of his last, out of his last 6 games without Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum has hit this assist prop in 4 out of 6 games. He pushed in 1 game, and then the San Antonio game was a blowout. So feel really good about CJ McCollum getting over 6 assists today if this game stays close, which against the Bulls, I think it will. Right now, the spread's only 2.5, and actually the Pelicans are favored in this game. I don't know how, but the Pelicans are favored in this game, so I think the game stays close. I think CJ McCollum plays his full minutes. His assist rate without Brandon Ingram is really, really high. You can take a look at it. So far, CJ McCollum's played 315 minutes without Brandon Ingram on the floor. 36.7% assist rate or assist percentage, which leads the team. Per 36, he's averaging, let's see, where's his assist at? He's averaging 8 assists per 36, and I do expect CJ McCollum to play 36 plus minutes if this game stays close. And even his potential assists, like the potential assists have been there over his last 5 games. CJ McCollum averaging 13.5 potential assists. Honestly, I could probably do last 6 games since Brandon Ingram's been out for the last 6 games. McCollum's potential assist over his last 6 games. Let's see where he is. 13.5 potential assists. Almost 7 assists he's averaging. So he's probably going to get 14, 15 potential assists. I think he had last game 15 potential assists. CJ McCollum did. 15 potential assists last game. Honestly, it was really unlucky that he only got 6 assists with 15 potentials. Normally, when a guy has 15 potential assists, they're going to get at least like 7 or 8 assists. I mean, Cade Cunningham had 15 potential assists, and he had 8. James Harden had 15 in his last game, and he finished with 7. So it was really unfortunate that CJ only had 6 assists last game. He should have had 7, if not 8. His teammates just couldn't make shots. Well, today, if his teammates can make shots, I feel confident CJ goes over 6 assists. This is a number that he's hit in a lot of his, basically all of his games without Brandon Ingram, except for the San Antonio game, which was a blowout, and then last game he pushed. So I think worst case scenario, CJ pushes here. I feel confident, though, he gets 7, if not 8 assists or more. So I really like the over 6 assists for CJ McCollum. These are 4 picks I like for today. Feel really good about these 4 plays. I always say, guys, you want to bet responsibly. Always play money that you're comfortable losing. If you have a bad losing day, if you lose your entries, you should not be depressed. You should not be angry. We're all doing this for fun. I mean, obviously, we all want to win money. I do play a good amount of money on my plays, but I've been playing DFS for 5-6 years. I feel very confident in the entries I put out there. So I'm always going to bet what I'm comfortable playing. You guys should do the same. I do feel really good about these 4 plays, though, and hopefully we can hit all 4 plays. Now, do you have to play all 4 plays in one entry? Obviously not. I think the smartest way to do it is to take 2 of the 4 and do a 2-pick, and then the other 2 plays, take those and do a 2-pick. Because if you did that yesterday, you would have profited at least if you did a power play. Because if you did 2-pick power plays and you hit one of them, well, that's 3 extra money. Obviously, you take away what you played, you still come out, whatever you played. Let's say you play $50 on 2 different 2-picks and you hit one of them. Well, that's still $50 that you profited. So I would say to do multiple 2-picks with these 4 plays, mix and match them. I think it's fine to run a 4-pick just because if we do hit all 4 plays, obviously you want to have a chance to win 10x your money. But if you're doing a 4-pick, I definitely would say play lighter on those just because those are a little bit harder to win. You have to get every pick right. I feel confident in these 4 plays, though. Hopefully we can hit all 4, win some money tonight. I wish you guys the best of luck. As always, I appreciate you watching these videos. Hit that like button. If you have not yet, hit that subscribe button as well. Again, if you're new to Prizepicks, you want to check them out, you can sign up with my promo code NOAH. They'll match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my code. But yeah, guys, best of luck tonight. Hopefully we can keep this streak going. We went 7-1 on our last 8 picks. Hopefully tonight we can hit all 4 of these. So best of luck, guys. We will see you in the next video.